Welcome to another quick cultural conversation for Ark Republic. I'm Dame Crawford, here to give you a little bit of information. You know how we do when we do these quick cultural conversations. So today we're going to be talking about the timeline that we have now entered. We are now in the Austin Powers Bond villain timeline. That's right. Our president has proposed Alligator Alcatraz, where you have a jail cell surrounded by alligators as a deterrent. That's literally a plot from Austin Powers. We are literally dealing with some Bond villain stuff right now. And not only that, when I talk about a Bond villain, you expand on that. He's at the point where he's using ice for his personal bounty hunters to do his personal bidding. It's scary out here, folks. And I want to talk about how at every turn you see him pushing the boundaries of the Constitution, pushing the boundary of state laws, pushing the boundaries of our democracy. And he's doing this on purpose. He's pushing these boundaries because we all know he wants to be a king. It's not a joke when people say no kings. He wants to be a king. So he's pushing those boundaries to see just how far he can go. And so far, he's been able to go as far as he wants to go because there has been no repercussions for the things that he's done. Nobody's stopping them from building Alligator Alcatraz. Nobody's stopping him. His Supreme Court is supporting him when he says he's going to take over the National Guard in California and use them for his personal, his personal army, pretty much. His personal gophers at this point. There was an election in Tennessee where the officials in Tennessee just decided we're going to stay in office for another year. So those checks and balances that the government had, the decorum that the government was ran on, that small fiber of democracy is being pulled to its limit. And I don't think any of these things are isolated incidents. So I want everybody to pay attention to what's going on. Pay attention to the bigger picture. Pay attention to what he's doing with ICE. Pay attention to what he's doing with the Marines. Pay attention to what he's doing with these jail cells and the people that he wants to put in these jail cells. It's not just the Latino people. He has been talking to, different people in Africa because he needs somewhere to put the Black people. He's already been talking about figuring out how he can deport American citizens. Like when I say he's basically setting fire to the Constitution, that's what's going on. So I need you all to be vigilant and pay attention to what's going on. And also know that a lot of the stuff in his big, beautiful bill doesn't go into, it doesn't go into effect until like the end of next year. But that also means you guys, you have time. His constituents that are going to get hit, mostly in those red states, going to get real hard because he's cutting Medicaid, cutting Medi-Cal, he's cutting he's trying to cut Social Security. He's cutting SNAP benefits, which will hurt people all across this country, people who depend on that, especially the elderly. The elderly is going to be hurt really bad. So that means y'all got to pay attention and get all those Republicans who voted for that bill, y'all got to get them out of there if you want to try to make changes for yourself during the midterms. Right now, the midterms will be your saving grace in regards to stopping all these things from occurring, stopping all these things from happening, trying to restore some kind of checks and balances back into the White House, back into this administration, back in the Senate, back into Congress. I don't want to be alarmist, but this is really serious. And all my days, I've never seen a president move like this, act like this, stretch the boundaries of the law, test the boundaries of the law. And he has a Supreme Court that backs him. He has a Senate that backs him. He has Congress that backs him. He has a cabinet that backs him. There are no guardrails for this president, no guardrails for this administration. Laura Loomer, who is one of his, biggest people next to him, biggest people in his cabinet, she made the statement that we can feed the alligators every day because we have 65 million people to feed to them. 65 million is not just the undocumented. 65 million is the entirety of the Latino community. Pay attention to what these people are saying. because these are the people that's in the president's ear. These are the people that advise him. Like I said, I know for years everybody was saying he's a threat to democracy, and it seemed like people were crying wolf, but they're not. The wolf is coming across right now, and I want you guys to be ready. Take care of yourself. Pay attention to what ICE is doing. Pay attention to how they're pretty much running around, just snatching people up off the streets without saying who they are, without showing a badge, without showing a warrant. Look at the lawlessness that's happening right now in California, in our city. Look at what's happening across the country with lawmakers just deciding they want to change the rules without letting the people have a voice. This is not an exaggeration. These are things that are actually happening right now, and we have to pay attention to it. So if you want to make change, start to prepare now. Figure out what kind of people you want to vote for in the midterms. Figure out who you want to run. Figure out who needs to run. Figure out the things you need to figure out to help your local community, because local elections are going to be so important this next go around. So start paying attention to those local elections, because that's going to be the difference between some people having and some people have not. Our president is literally running around here acting like Dr. Evil and a Bond villain. Let's take these midterms seriously, ladies and gentlemen. And let's take all the things that he's doing. Let's take these threats to democracy seriously. Because once those civil rights starts getting trampled on, Black folks, we first in line, we first up, right? This has been another quick cultural conversation. I'm Dame Crawford for Ark Republic. I'll see you soon.